Hey there! Today, I'm thrilled to share another exciting thought-provoking video that's going to make waves. Today's video is a discussion on the first three videos. If you're into deep dives into society, equality, and the future, this one's for you. Ever wondered about the foundations of our social fabric? Join me as we unravel the intricate layers of the social contract that shapes our world. Let's challenge our perspectives and explore the implications of its termination. To spread the word, let's start a ripple effect together. Share this video, tag a friend who loves intellectual conversations, and use hashtag #SocialContractUnraveled and at Equity Exposed to join the movement. Let's ignite a dialogue that has the power to reshape our understanding of society. I hope you enjoyed the previous videos. Let us review the three videos before we get into the next videos on the usurpation of England. The first video explains how accepting the estate in modern equity is also the acceptance of the tenure in common law. The modern system of law is based on a type of membership scheme under a supreme ruler with absolute ownership of the land. Everyone that resides within the dominion of the king is subject to the king. Within this modern system, the king owns all property, movable and immovable. The residents only have a property interest. From these property interests, rights and duties are created. It is the creation of property under a king that created the modern law of contract, tort, purchase, conveyance, and most of all bills of exchange. The importance of reading pre-English law sheds some light on why in the year 1086 the Domesday Book was created. This book took not only the lands, but everything on it as the king's, including certain classes of people. Pre-English law shows us that jurisdiction was voluntary, yet to force an individual to accept the jurisdiction, some systems of law used property the individual has or wants to compel them to attorn the system of kings. The usurpation of England was despotic and a tyranny. King William did not achieve jurisdiction over the people and the things of England until the law was changed by the Domesday Book, creating a new type of jurisdiction. A type of jurisdiction never seen before, the ability to draw a circle on a map that creates authority over everything and everyone within this newly created scheme. As we can see, in jurisdiction pre-1086, the individual was not subject unless some interest made that individual attorn, an interest the individual must want, but most of all a property interest, where property is not absolute but is subject to another. The estate is a property interest that is masked in almost 100 years of changes. The start of English law created a territorial jurisdiction based on a membership. The membership is property under a king. Most individuals from 1066 till 1688 are what we call today slaves. This includes the farmers, lawyers, police, and judges. Only certain titles of nobility created a higher class yet. This despotic era can be visualized as the Game of Thrones. During this era in time, being a noble did not always turn out to be the best position. The most important aspect of pre-English law is how jurisdiction was created. Realizing that compared to today, there existed many systems of law, yet none of these systems had what we call today as jurisdiction over anyone. The jurisdiction was over an object or a thing, not an individual. It was the choice of the individual that created this jurisdiction. The jurisdiction was created by the individual not being able to do anything else. The individual has to attorn. As we will see from the history of English law from 1066 to 1688, the despotic monarchy was removed and replaced by a constitutional monarchy. Yet this did not change the rules to the law of tenure. This simply created a trust of land, making the monarchy trustee, and the people now have a choice by being beneficiaries, compared to slaves from 1066 to 1688. The history from 1066 to 1688 is extremely interesting and important to understand the social contract and the trust attached. In 1068, everyone became slaves. All property became the king's. Everyone was a forced member by the new territorial jurisdiction as the dominion of the king. The people of this territory were put into classes. From 1086 to 1688, all the laws created for the tenant was creating rights to property and the estate. In 1086, the tenants were slaves in law. They had no property and had no way to hold property subject to the king. An estate needed to be created. The progression of law from the usurpation till the constitutional monarchy was appointed in 1688 was nothing more than creating duties for members as new rights under a despotic system. Only once the despotic system was removed did the constitutional government have the ability to be created under the new common law and equity scheme, yet we will get more into that when we get to that era in law. Law books are written by a member, and as a member, they write about all aspects of the system. The focus of these videos is not all of the systems as being discussed by the scholars. We are focused on the foundations as original sources to understand the system as a whole. In many chapters, the first few paragraphs are all that is needed to understand the basics of that area of law. Reading further, the scholar goes deeper into that area of law, yet I must caution the reader. The scholar always writes in a manner that all parties are a member and subject to the settlements. When reading the law books, paying attention to the situation and parties is vital to understanding what is being discussed. As we get closer to modern law in the videos, this will become self-evident. Quick review. Pre-English law is where we find the foundations of modern jurisdiction. 1066 to 1688 is the creation of tenure law for the king and civil and property rights under a new dominion jurisdiction created by the Domesday Book for the tenant. 1688 to 1925, the changes to tenure law by the creation of a strict settlement not subject to a trust. 1925 to today, the creation of law under a strict settlement of land subject to a trust, also known as property and civil rights under constitutional governments. As we can now see, this system of modern law is not complicated when we are asking what the common law and equity system is and how individuals become subject to this type of system. The problem comes from all the sources completely ignoring when the history of the system started. Most think it is after 1925, when in reality the most important aspects are found before 1066. We have also revealed the starting point for dominion jurisdiction, property jurisdiction, and what is called personal jurisdiction today. Dominion is for individuals under the dominion of a king or government. Being under the dominion creates the jurisdiction for laws made for property and civil rights. This is called subject matter jurisdiction. Subject matter jurisdiction is the ability to make laws that apply to things, like property, or the actions of members. To have the ability to make a law for a thing, there must be dominion over that thing. This is the property subject to another. Personal jurisdiction is based on that specific law intending to apply to a specific individual. Being under the dominion as a resident implies there is personal jurisdiction. Being a member, the person is within the jurisdiction of that law proves personal jurisdiction. When we take the membership away, we regain dominion as our own. The membership gives dominion jurisdiction away, creating a residency for the individual. This membership gives dominion to the king. This also creates an acceptance of the membership, granting the personal jurisdiction, which also makes the subject matter of that system of laws apply. The only way a member can dispute jurisdiction is if the law is being applied to a situation that the law cannot apply to. For example, if you stole an apple, yet are charged with murder, this is an error in subject matter, an error on the correct law that applies to the issue. Yet by removing dominion, removes the subject matter and the personal jurisdictions. Jurisdiction is slightly more complicated than this. This is the basis of jurisdiction and the authority to make laws for people and things that are still applicable today. This new concept of dominion, as we will see, funnels its way into the natural law, the basis of the scheme of dominion for the monarchy, where governments get a territory interest and the tenant gets a property interest, where the lands are held in trust for the people that took a property interest, giving up their own dominion interest, creating a unique situation. An enforceable agreement that all those subject to common law and equity have a duty to those that are not subject to the dominion of another, creating a pyramid system, where only those not subject to the strict settlement have the absolute right to the lands held in trust by those under the settlements. The system of law also assumes the monarchy as the owner. Even today, the settler to the trust is very seldom mentioned. The system only discusses what applies to it. I hope you enjoyed this review of the first 3 videos of Social Contract Revealed. I do suggest watching the videos again. Don't forget to download the book and take a closer look at the footnotes. Footnotes are very important, do not ignore them. I would like to hear from you in the comments what information you did not know about before. And what information so far have you found the most helpful? I know the videos are not the best, but I hope they get better quality over time.